Have you ever had that feeling that the biggest forces shaping your life are completely invisible to you? Well, today we're diving into a series of sharp, really honest observations that act like a special kind of lens, revealing the hidden systems that quietly guide our choices. Let's get into it.
And boom, there it is. That's the core idea. And it's a brilliant, kind of unsettling one, isn't it? It suggests we're all just like fish, so completely surrounded by a system that it just becomes the invisible background noise of our lives.
And that, of course, raises the big question. If we are swimming in some kind of water, what is it? What are the currents that are pushing and pulling us in directions we might not even realize? Let's find out.
Okay, so the very first step is just to see the argument itself, that our world is governed by what the source calls invisible cages. These are systems we're born into and just accept as totally normal. Now, this definition of a system is really important. It's not some evil, mustache-twirling villain. Nope, it's way more subtle than that. It's just a structure, a set of rules and incentives with one main goal, to keep itself going. Your personal happiness? Yeah, that's not really part of its programming.
So here's the really crucial part, how these systems actually work. They limit our imagination about what can even be changed. And this part is genius. They train us to blame individuals, either ourselves or other people, for problems that are actually built right into the structure. It's a fantastic way to keep anyone from looking too closely at the system itself. All right, let's get concrete and apply this to our first big example, the modern world of work. This is maybe the most visible, yet somehow still invisible, cage that a lot of us live in every single day.
And here is a feeling I think many of us know really well. This idea that all our drive, our ambition, when you really get down to it, it just feels like pure exhaustion wearing a disguise, pretending to be productive. And here's the trick, right? We're sold this idea that hustling is a form of self-improvement. But the argument here is that it's just the economic system dressing up as a wellness trend, a very clever way to get more work out of us while making us feel like we're bettering ourselves. I mean, this just breaks down the trap perfectly. The system doesn't give you enough with one job, so it pushes you to get a side hustle. But that's not a solution. It's just a second job. And that whole concept of work-life balance, poof, it just completely evaporates.
Okay, so if work is one cage, what about our social lives? We have more tools to connect with each other than at any point in human history. So, why do so many of us feel so deeply alone? Let's run through these quickly because the diagnosis is just so sharp. First step, dating apps. They promise romance, but what they really deliver is a marketplace. We become products to be swiped left or right on, not actual people to connect with.
And then you've got social media. Its design isn't really for connection, it's for addiction. We keep pulling that lever, scrolling and scrolling, hoping for a little hit of validation, all while our attention is the real prize being sold off to advertisers.
And this is the devastating conclusion. Loneliness isn't your personal failing. The argument is that it's the predictable result of a society that has slowly taken apart real community and replaced it with individualism and digital screens.
So if we're feeling drained by work and cut off from each other, where do we turn? Well, this next section looks at the systems we've created to try and find some meaning and comfort inside of all these other cages.
The analysis here lays out two very different modern paths. On one side, you've got religion, which offers this grand story, a sense of cosmic meaning, and a built-in community. On the other side, you have therapy, offering what's described here as rented emotional intimacy, a professional space to be heard. And just notice that fundamental tension. One promises that there's a grand plan, while the other is often about helping you accept there might not be one at all.
So the crucial point here is really about a shift in perspective. We always talk about finding meaning, like it's some lost treasure we have to go on a hunt for. But this suggests that we are the creators, not the discoverers. The responsibility and also the power is entirely on us.
Which brings us to the big so what question. I mean, it can feel a little bleak, can it? To see all these systems in cages so clearly. What's the point of all this awareness if it just makes us feel even more trapped? And the source is self-aware enough to admit this. Just watching this or reading these ideas, it doesn't magically fix anything. Knowledge by itself isn't the cure. But, and this is the absolute key takeaway, you can't fight an enemy you can't see. You can't escape a cage you don't even know you're in.
Naming these systems, seeing the water you're swimming in, that is the essential first step to getting your agency back. It's where the possibility of any real change begins.
And so this is where we end. You can think of this whole analysis as a diagnosis, not a prescription. The medicine isn't in these words. It's in the action that comes after. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. Now that you can see the cage, what are you going to do?